Hello guys and welcome back learning forensic science with Anshul Kapoor. So in our previous video we were studying about cannabis sativa. We got to know that cannabis sativa is a scientific name for a plant. Okay, I'm drawing the plant here again. Okay. So there are leaves, there are leaflets. Okay, we'll study about it. What is the arrangement? Okay, we'll study about it all. These are the flowers, right? Okay, so there is this plant named Cannabis sativa. From this plant and a various set of chemicals called cannabinoids can be extracted. The cannabinoids belongs to a group of chemicals in which there are more than 85 compounds. From these 85 compounds, there is this one chemical called delta 9 trans TH, delta 9 trans THC, which is responsible for psychoactive effect on human nervous system, right? So this trans delta 9 THC is the main principal active component of this plant cannabis sativa, and the distribution of this chemical trans delta 9 THC varies throughout the plant. So in the pistillate flowers, we have studied about it all in our previous video. You can watch the previous video for these references, but I'm just summing this up whatever we have studied. Okay, so in the pistillate flowers, 10 to 12% of THC is present. In the leaves, 1 to 2% THC is present. In the stalk, 0.1 to 1% THC is present, and in the roots, less than 0.03% THC is present. Right. So based on which part of the plant is being trafficked or is being used to make the drug, there are several drugs under consideration that we have to see. So there is this hashish oil, which is having around 50% concentration of THC. We have charas, which is having around 25 to 40% concentration of THC. Then we are having ganja, which is having 15 to 25% concentration of THC. We are having bhang, which is having 10 to 15% concentration of THC. And we also studied about hemp, which is having less than 1% concentration of THC, and it is mostly used for industrial purposes. It is not at all considered as a part of drug. Okay, hemp is all industrial work, like the plant that is being used for the industrial work is termed as hemp because it is having very low concentration of the active principal component, right? And also along with bhang, we study about majun. Majun is the sweet which is prepared from bhang, and it is also having same concentration like bhang. So today in this video I'm going to tell you what do we actually mean by hashish oil, what do we actually mean by charas, from which part of the plant charas is extracted, from which part of the plant ganja is obtained, what do we call as bhang, because all of these are having the same active principal component which is delta 9 trans THC, right? In hashish also charas, ganja, bhang, majun. In all of these, the major acting principal component is trans delta 9 THC only. But from which part of the plant the drug has been extracted, on that basis the concentration of THC varies, right? So firstly we will start studying about, so according to NDPS Act. Do you know what is NDPS Act? Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act. NDPS Act. NDPS Act 1985. ठीक है? This is the act that actually defines drugs which all drugs are considered under NDPS Act would be the illegal ones, right? Only the authorized persons or the authorized areas could grow legally these plants, because these have a potential of abuse, right? Because apart from its all medical uses, apart from its uses at hospitals in curing the diseases, these drugs are often abused and misused. So to prevent the misuse, the government of India enabled this act, NDPS Act, so that it can regulate which all parts of India are growing this specific plant and what are their uses, like in which areas or in which sectors these plants are getting used, right? So this act not only defines the drug, this act also defines the punishments when these drugs are found illegally to some persons, some trafficking is going on, then what are the punishments that are given to the convicts, right? So according to NDPS Act has defined several drugs in the plant Cannabis Sativa. So the first definition comes from Charas. First definition comes from Charas. Charas is actually a separated resin in whatever form. Crude, purified, it is separated resin in whatever form, crude or purified, obtained from the plant Cannabis Sativa. It is very important. This is the laying foundation of your understanding of each and every drug. So the definitions given in NDPS Act, you must adhere to them by heart, right? From the plant Cannabis Sativa. See, these definitions are not only for mugging up purposes, but they also give a clarity of the fact, right? Obtained from the plant Cannabis Sativa, and also includes concentrated preparation of the resin called as Hashish. So, charas is the separated resin form. Do you know what resin is? Have you heard about resin? Resin is a sticky substance, right? Resin is the sticky substance that is extracted from the plant of Cannabis sativa. So when I would be teaching you the morphology of each and every plant part, and I will be talking about the morphology of leaf and about the microscopic features of leaves, we would see that in the leaves now, I'm giving you a glimpse, okay? We will cover this later in detail. So suppose this is the leaf. This is the upper surface of leaf, right? There are two surfaces of leaf, now upper surface and the lower surface. And this is suppose the lower surface of leaf. So on the lower surface of leaf, there are glandular structures, glandular hairs, which are called as trichomes. From these trichomes present on the leaf or bracteoles, from this leaf, there are these trichomes present on the bracteoles. These trichomes, glandular trichomes, are present from which resin can be extracted. So later on, I will be teaching you the morphology of each and every part of the plant. I will be telling you about trichomes in detail, like how many types of trichomes are there. But for now, you should know that on the lower surface of leaf, there are some glandular hair-like structures, right? From these hair-like structures, hair-like glands, resin can be extracted, and that resin, whether in crude form or in purified form, is called as charas. Clear? So whenever we would be talking about resin, you should have in mind about charas. Correct? Let's come to studying ganja. Ganja matlab the flowering or fruiting top of the plant Cannabis sativa excluding seeds and leaves when not accompanied by the top. अब गांजा की डिफाइन क्या है? गांजा मीन्स फ्लावरिंग और फ्रूटिंग टॉप ऑफ द प्लांट कैनबिस सटाइवा। मतलब अगर ये सपोज प्लांट है पूरा कैनबिस सटाइवा का, इसमें से सिर्फ इतना पार्ट which is covering the flowering and fruiting top, this part would be termed as ganja. जब हम रेजिन की बात कर रहे थे, जब हम रेजिनस फॉर्म की बात कर रहे थे, जो लीव्स के अंदर से जो रेजिन निकलता है उसको कलेक्ट करना, वेदर इन क्रूड फॉर्म वेदर इन प्यूरिफाइड फॉर्म, दैट वाज चरस, राइट। अब अगर हम बात करें प्लांट पार्ट की, जब हम बात कर रहे हैं गांजा की, गांजा मीन्स द फ्लावरिंग और फ्रूटिंग टॉप ऑफ द प्लांट कैनबिस सटाइवा। सो इट डज नॉट अकम्पनी की वेदर how many flowers we are talking about or how many leaves we are talking about, till the point there are flowers in the picture and there is this top, flowering and fruiting top, that is called ganja, right? So excluding the seeds and leaves, suppose here there is one seed, okay, the flower it progressed to a stage where it gave seed, so there is this seed and suppose there is this leaf, but this leaf and this seed are not accompanied by the top. So this would not be considered under ganja. Only the top part of the plant containing the flower, containing the leaf would be, and containing the fruit also would be considered under ganja, right? Flowering, fruiting top, very important to remember. Flowering, fruiting top is ganja. Resinous form is charas. Okay, most of the students get confused here. What is ganja? What is charas? But make this very clear in mind कि whenever you are talking about a plant part, flowering, fruiting top of the plant, you are talking about ganja. Whenever you are talking about resinous form, you are talking about charas, right? And then in NDPS Act it is mentioned that any mixture with or without neutral material, with or without neutral material, any mixture with or without neutral material of any of the above forms of cannabis, right, is also included under NDPS Act. Any mixture like or any drink, right? So we know that we are talking about, first point we talked about charas in the NDPS Act. Second point we talked about ganja. The third point states this: any mixture, any drink with or without any neutral material. Neutral material means which is not having, neutral material का मतलब है any material which does not have active principal component. और यहाँ पे हमारा active principal component क्या है? डेल्टा 9 ट्रांस THC, राइट। न्यूट्रल मटेरियल मतलब कोई भी ऐसी चीज जिसमें बस ये डेल्टा 9 THC ना हो, बाकी कुछ भी चलेगा, इज द न्यूट्रल मटेरियल। ठीक है, तो हम ग्लूकोज बोल सकते हैं, वी कैन से ड्रिंक्स, वी कैन से कोल्ड ड्रिंक्स, जूसेस, मिल्क, ओके, दीज आर ऑल द न्यूट्रल मटेरियल्स ऑफ एनी फॉर्म ऑफ कैनबिस, मतलब गांजा, चरस को या फिर किसी भी फॉर्म ऑफ कैनबिस को हम किसी न्यूट्रल मटेरियल के साथ मिला के डाइल्यूट करके भी ले रहे हैं, दैट इज ऑल्सो इंक्लूडेड अंडर द डेफिनेशन, राइट. When we say bhang, or some write it as, right, we are talking about dried leaves and fruit या flower shoots. ठीक है. अब जब ये जो ऊपर का फ्लावरिंग शूट का पार्ट है या फिर लीफ का पार्ट रह गया, ठीक है, इनको जब ये पूरा ड्राई हो जाए, इट इज ग्राउंडेड, पीसा जाता है, ठीक है, एंड मिक्स्ड विथ वाटर, इसकी एक पेस्ट बनाई जाती है, एंड देन इट इज एडेड टू milk, it is added to some juice to form a drink that we call it as bhang. ठीक है, and there is majoon. There was already a question in UGC-NET about majoon. So majoon is the sweet prepared from bhang. ठीक है. Now only one thing is left, which is hashish oil. Hashish oil is actually a concentrated form of charas resin. जब हम इस रेजिन को बहुत ज्यादा कॉन्सेंट्रेट कर लेंगे, ठीक है, हम इसका अल्कोहल या पेट्रोल एक्सट्रैक्ट लें और उसको हम कॉन्सेंट्रेट करते जाएं, सो दैट द कॉन्सेंट्रेशन ऑफ THC reaches to the 50%, then it becomes hashish oil, or it is also termed as liquid hashish. Right. चरस की ही एक कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड फॉर्म है hashish oil. Any doubt here? Now I have a question for you. I have told you about hashish oil. We have discussed about hashish oil. We have discussed about charas, ganja, bhang, majoon, hemp. Now I have a question for you, which you would tell me in the comment section. Is hashish equivalent to charas? We have talked about hashish oil, not hashish. So you would tell me, is hashish equivalent to charas, or hashish is equivalent to hashish oil, or hashish oil is different to hashish, is different to charas? What is the relation between these three? You would tell me in the comment section. Hashish, charas and hashish oil. Are they three same? What is the difference between these three? I have taught you this difference about charas and hashish. Hashish oil is actually a concentrated form of charas. But what is the relation of hashish, charas and hashish oil in together? You would tell me in the comment section, right? Okay guys, this is up for this video. In my next video, we would be talking about the physical appearance, physical characteristics, macroscopic and microscopic features of the plant Cannabis sativa. Stay tuned.